Oh rats, the needle container is full. Well, nothing left but making a new one, I guess. Right, so these are the parts we're going to have to make, the container and the lid. As opposed to last time, I'll be making this from 0.5 millimeter sheet, as opposed to the 1 millimeter I was using before that. I think that'll make life a little bit easier. Then I'll be modifying the tool rest a little bit, drilling and tapping a series of holes into it so that I can put a pin in there which can act as a fulcrum for the tool so that I have the lever advantage and can exert more force onto the part. You may notice right in the corner here there is some kind of a ridge which we'll have to make. I'll be honest, I don't even know if that's possible purely by metal spinning. So what I'm going to be doing, rather than even trying, is make a separate ring from this here, which is going to be turned to dimension and then knurled on the outside, and slip that onto the cover where it's then going to get soldered into place. This all is going to get nickel plated afterwards anyway, so the difference in material is going to get covered up, and I think it will look almost as if it was made from a single part. So without further ado, let's step over to the lathe. I think I'll first make this one, so that I don't have to take the tool slide off for this. And then we'll also, of course, have to modify the tool rest, and then we can get cracking. So here's where we stand at the moment. The first one kind of ripped in the side here, which I really have no explanation for. Maybe I pressed too hard and thinned the material down to a critical point. And then the second one went well until this shape, and then it started to crumble, which, to be honest, if I were that sheet, I would do exactly the same thing. So what we're going to do, since I don't have any tube material of the right size, is cut a rectangular shape out of this, then use the circle part here from the base, which is fine, and solder the two together, so we have a nice container. In conclusion, making the lid went exceptionally well. I'm very happy with the result. The knurl turned out fine, metal spinning went wonderful, the solder distributed very nicely and covered up all the rough spots, and the indentation for the middle looks like factory made. What didn't go quite so well was the actual container. And in hindsight, it's actually quite logical that the metal crumbled up so much. After all, when you start with a flat sheet and bend it around a 90-degree curve, you have to fold over all this portion. And when we take a piece of paper and try the same thing, fold it over, then it's doing the same thing as the metal did earlier. It's going to crumble up. For a small ridge, that's okay, because the material is plastic and, well, it has plasticity, and it's going to adjust itself, structurally in order to get into this shape. But I think this is just far too much. Now, there might be a technique out there how you can metal spin these sharp bends. And if you know something about this topic, then please let me know if there is a way to guide the tool, for example, or if you have to do it in steps with annealing in between, something like that. If I had to do this again, I would either buy a piece of tubing with the fitting diameter and just solder the cap to there, just to save myself this extra solder joint, which is not going to matter, of course, because it's going to get sunk into the gramophone, and I can just let that face the backside and no one's going to see it. What you could also do is draw this from a flat piece. Make yourself a punch and a die, and then start out flat and punch the thing through the hole, and it's going to make just this shape, which is going to be working quite well, I'm imagining, because that's how pots, for example, are made. They're just drawn out from a flat sheet through a die. Overall though, I think when we get this thing nickel plated, it's going to look just like the original, and I saved myself a couple of money units there. These are quite rare to come by, and this one looks just as nice. I can't get it nickel plated right now due to a certain virus out there, so that'll have to wait. For the meantime though, I'm still very happy with the result, and I hope you are too. So, see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.